Ever looked at the Amazing World of Gumball and thought, wait, did Gumball just get a glow up? Yup, this show has switched animation styles more times than Darwin's blink rate. From chunky outlines to smoother than butter frames, Gumball's had more makeovers than a reality TV contestant. Today, we're diving into every wild, wacky, and downright ridiculous animation change. And trust me, your eyeballs are in for a ride. Buckle up, Buttercup. It's time to decode the cartoon chaos. Before the slick animation and chaotic energy we know today, Gumball had, well, let's call it a rough draft phase. Way back in 2008, a pilot episode was made, but it never aired. It's like the secret level of a video game, hidden, glitchy, and just a little cursed. This version of Gumball looked like his distant cousin who ate too many jelly beans. His head? Giant. His body? Tiny. His fingers? Looked like overcooked hot dogs. Honestly, it was like someone tried to draw Gumball from memory after spinning in a chair 10 times. The animation was super simple. No fancy lighting, no slick movement, just vibes and pixelated hopes. Gumball looked like he had just woken up from a nap inside a washing machine. But let's be fair, this pilot was the humble beginning. It laid the foundation for greatness. Every legend starts somewhere, even if that somewhere looks like a bootleg DVD cover. It may have never made it to TV, but the pilot was the first little meow before Gumball roared into Cartoon Network stardom. So the next time someone tells you to trust the process, just remember, even Gumball started out looking like a melted marshmallow with eyes. And we love him for it. Ah yes, Darwin, the sweetest fish out of water. But did you know that in the pilot episode, our boy was looking a little meh? Like if you saw that version of Darwin today, you'd probably say, "Sir, who are you and what have you done with my emotionally unstable aquatic son?" In the pilot, Darwin had small, limp fins that looked like sad noodles. His body lacked detail, and his face barely showed emotion. It was like someone gave a goldfish a crayon and said, "Good luck." He didn't have that bounce, that sparkle, that chaotic best friend energy we love. Nope, he was more like that one friend in the group chat who only responds with OK or LOL and then disappears for 3 days. Mysterious? Maybe. Emotionally available? Absolutely not. And don't even get me started on his movements. Less cartoon sidekick, more goldfish cracker left under the couch for 3 months. But then came the glow-up. Darwin got bigger fins, more details, brighter colors, and expressions that could win an Oscar. Suddenly, he was dancing, crying, flopping, flailing, feeling. Our boy was alive. It's like he went from low-budget aquarium pet to animated icon overnight. The upgrade was so real, even Darwin would look back at his pilot self and say, "Yikes, I needed lotion and a hug." So yes, Darwin's transformation wasn't just a design change, it was a full-blown personality transplant. And we're so glad he leveled up from meh to magnificent. In 2011, Gumball finally said, "Lights, camera, chaos," when the very first episode, the DVD, hit Cartoon Network in the US. And wow, it did not come to play. Right. In 2011, Gumball finally said, "Lights, camera, chaos," when the very first episode, the DVD, hit Cartoon Network in the US. And wow, it did not come to play. Right out the gate, it looked like someone fed a cartoon a gallon of Red Bull and threw it into Photoshop. Real-world photography for backgrounds? Wild. A cast of characters that looked like they were animated in 5 different programs? Even wilder. Season 1 didn't just test the waters, it cannonballed into them. With 36 episodes, we were introduced to the Watterson family in full ridiculous glory. Gumball, Darwin, Nicole, Richard, and Aeneas. A blue cat, an orange fish, a pink bunny dad, and somehow it all worked. The blend of animation styles was risky, but it made Gumball Gumball. It was chaotic, messy, and magical. Behind the scenes, voice actors Logan Grove, Gumball, and Kwesi Boki contributed their voices. Darwin brought the characters to life with the kind of chaotic kid energy that made it feel like you were eavesdropping on your own siblings. And people loved it. like 2.12 million viewers kind of love. Gumball didn't just premiere, it exploded onto the scene like a glitter bomb at a tea party. Critics were shook. It snagged the British Academy Children's Award for Animation just months after launch, setting the stage for what would become one of Cartoon Network's most iconic shows. And just when fans thought it couldn't get crazier, Season 2 said, "Hold my donut." The genius behind the Amazing World of Gumball is Benjamin Bockley, and his big brain idea was, well, kind of brilliant and kind of insane. Instead of tossing out rejected characters from old projects, he built them their own universe. Think of it like an animal shelter, but instead of sad puppies, it's a home for weird, colorful, slightly unhinged cartoon misfits. The concept worked so well that a pilot was made, greenlit, and eventually evolved into 6 glorious seasons, with a 7th on the horizon. But this wasn't just any cartoon. Oh no. From day one, Gumball's world was a mashup masterpiece. 2D characters hanging out with 3D ones, all running around on real-life photo backgrounds. It was like ketchup on pizza, sounds risky, but somehow it just slapped. And the colors? My eyes are still recovering. Every scene looked like it had just chugged 3 energy drinks. It was vibrant, chaotic, and impossible to look away from. Even the occasional animation freeze in Season 1, like the characters were buffering mid-sentence, added this weird, nostalgic charm. But under all that hyperactivity, the show's heart was the Watterson family. A blue cat who never sits still, an adopted talking goldfish, a pint-sized genius bunny, a lovable donut-shaped dad who's always eating, and a mom whose patience deserves a medal. It was wild, it was messy, and it was impossible not to love. Gumball wasn't just a cartoon. It was a beautiful, animated explosion of second chances and pure, joyful chaos. When Season 2 rolled in, the Amazing World of Gumball got the cartoon equivalent of a spa day, a gym membership, and a personal stylist all at once. The thick, chunky outlines slimmed down. The choppy movements smoothed out like butter on hot toast. No more freeze-ups that made it look like the character's Wi-Fi was cutting out. Gumball himself looked a little different, slimmer, sleeker, but don't worry, he still kept that adorable little belly that screams, "Yes, I just had 3 after-school snacks. What about it?" His expression leveled up too. Now he could go from bored to absolute panic in milliseconds, and it made every joke hit harder. The interactions between characters also sped up, with faster dialogue and snappier pacing. It felt more alive, like the animators had injected espresso directly into Elmore's water supply. And then came the pop culture references. Video games, classic movies, internet memes, you name it. Gumball roasted it. Suddenly, the show wasn't just funny, it was relevant. You'd watch an episode and immediately think, wait, did they just make fun of that movie? Plus, we got more side characters, longer episodes, and even weirder storylines. It was as if the writers looked at Season 1 and said, okay, but what if we made it stranger? Spoiler alert, they did, and it worked. By the end of Season 2, Gumball wasn't just a great cartoon. It was a chaotic, meme-generating machine, and fans were eating it up like Nicole with a coupon at the grocery store. Now, if you could redesign any version of Gumball, from his chubby pilot look to his slick, polished latest form, which style would you bring back and why? Season 3 of The Amazing World of Gumball looked like the whole cast had just discovered skincare. The textures, smoother. The colors, richer. It was like someone turned on HD mode and gave everyone a glow-up. Facial expressions, which were already top tier in earlier seasons, got even wilder thanks to softer shadows and better contrast with the backgrounds. And finally, the characters stopped looking like they were awkwardly glued onto photographs. Now, everything blended together just enough to make Elmore feel real, or at least as real as a town with a talking T-Rex and a balloon child can feel. This was Gumball and Darwin's social life era. The school setting became the heart of the action, with episodes full of drama, weird crushes, awkward friendship moments, and enough classroom chaos to make any teacher cry into their coffee. The eyes also got a major redesign. Gone were the long, oval-shaped peepers. Hello, rounder eyes. This wasn't just for looks. Rounder eyes made animating easier and opened the door for the most absurd expressions possible. We're talking bug-eyed panic, teary-eyed guilt, and I've just seen something I can't unsee levels of crazy. Some expressions were so hilariously over the top, you couldn't help but laugh. Others? Well, let's just say they were one creepy grin away from giving you nightmares. Season 3 was a balance of polish and chaos, if balance is even possible in Gumball's universe. It was sharper, funnier, and somehow even stranger than before, and fans loved every second of it. Season 4 of the Amazing World of Gumball decided to go full-on telenovela when Gumball and Darwin had the ultimate soap opera-level revelation. They were characters in a TV show. Yep, cue the dramatic zoom-in and thunder sound effect. Imagine realizing your whole life was scripted? That's like finding out your mom's secret recipe is just boxed mac and cheese. This wild, fourth wall-breaking twist didn't just add laughs, it rewired the show's DNA. Scripts got cheekier, jokes got more meta, and fans were left wondering if they were just pixels in some cosmic cartoon. Existential crisis. Unlocked. By seasons 5 and 6, the humor stayed sharp, but the writers started peeling back the layers to show the characters' softer sides. Richard and Nicole's moments hit especially hard, and Richard, our lovable, disaster-prone pink bunny, got some heartbreaking backstory. Turns out, his childhood wasn't all carrot cake and rainbows. His dad walked out on him, and in a particularly cruel twist, even sold Richard's birthday gifts when he was just a kid. That's not Father of the Year behavior, unless the award is for most likely to make you question humanity. And yet, the show balanced these gut punch moments with absurd comedy, proving it could make you laugh, cry, and spiral into philosophical dread, sometimes all in the same scene. By the time the Amazing World of Gumball hit its last season, the animation had leveled up so hard, it was basically flexing on every other show in the Cartoon Network lineup. The art style was sharper, the colors popped like they were in a permanent sugar rush, and the blend of 2D, 3D, and live-action backgrounds looked smoother than Gumball talking his way out of trouble, which is saying something. Season 6 brought a subtle but noticeable shift. Gumball and Darwin looked slightly older, like they'd just hit that "I can stay up past 10 p.m." phase. This opened the door to deeper, more emotional storylines. But don't worry, the absurd humor was still very much alive. The show wasn't about to swap banana slips for Shakespearean drama. And then came that finale. The apocalypse loomed over Elmore Junior High, tensions rose, and fans everywhere sat frozen with their popcorn halfway to their mouths. Just when you thought answers were coming, bam, cliffhanger. No resolution. It was the TV equivalent of your friend saying, "I need to tell you something huge," and then disappearing for a week. Now, with the 2025 Gumball movie and Season 7 on the horizon, the hype is real. The animation team has proven they can push visuals to jaw-dropping levels, so fans are ready for more chaos, more polish, and probably a few more emotional gut punches wrapped in total nonsense. Because in Gumball's world, even the apocalypse comes with a punchline. Alright, listen up! If you don't hit that subscribe button right now, Gumball might just show up at your door and challenge you to a dance-off. One of the sneaky, hilarious quirks of the Amazing World of Gumball is just how often the characters' voices change. Most cartoons cling to the same voice actors for years, sometimes until the actor's voice and the character are basically the same person. But Gumball? Nope. This show treats voices like seasonal hairstyles. Change is inevitable, and it's part of the fun. Gumball and Darwin alone have had multiple voice actors across the seasons, each bringing their own twist. And here's the genius part. The creators didn't always try to hide it. In fact, sometimes they leaned into the chaos, having two different actors voice the same character in the same episode, like a live, awkward puberty moment caught on mic. The result? Pure comedy gold. It's this willingness to play with expectations, even breaking the never change the voice rule, that makes Gumball so unique. Most shows pretend nothing's different when a voice actor changes. Gumball points at it, laughs, and makes it a joke. That's a big part of what keeps it feeling fresh. When even something as potentially distracting as a voice swap becomes part of the humor, you know you're watching a series that's both self-aware and completely unafraid to mess with its own rules. Gumball's not just telling stories, it's having fun with the way it tells them. And honestly, that's why it stands out in the cartoon crowd. Do you want me to make this one even more over-the-top funny like your Darwin glow-up piece? The Amazing World of Gumball has always been a creative playground, a wild mix of 2D, 3D, and live action that somehow works perfectly in its chaotic way. But since 2019, the show's been on pause, leaving fans both nostalgic and desperate to know what comes next. The big question, will we ever see the gang again? Maybe older, maybe in an even weirder Elmore? The idea isn't far-fetched. Adventure Time got a future spin-off, so why not Gumball? In fact, one super dedicated fan, known online as Adele, has already gone there, creating a whole future Gumball concept series on YouTube. His work reimagines Gumball, Darwin, Aeneas, and the rest of the crew years later, complete with teen drama, adult dilemmas, and the same absurd humor. One of his most popular videos, showing what Gumball and Darwin's kids might look like, has already racked up over 3.5 million views. It's all unofficial, no Cartoon Network or Ben Bakaleg involvement, but Adele nails the look and tone so well that it feels like a peek into an alternate timeline. And honestly, it might just inspire the real deal someday, because if there's one thing Gumball has taught us, it's that literally anything can happen, usually in the most unexpected way possible. Until then, the show remains more than just a cartoon. It's a creativity lab where nonsense somehow makes sense, and every season has pushed the boundaries of both animation and storytelling. If Season 7 and the movie really do land in 2025, we're in for another round of pure, beautifully absurd chaos. Alright, that's all for now. If you want more chaos and wild animation rides, check out our next video. Yeah, that one over there. Go on, click it. Okay, bye.